Why would they forfeit that? Alright, so self-poison was one of the things that it looked like most of the focus was on in the patch notes for 10.6. Now, after having played it for myself and playing against different variants of it, I've had the most success with something like this. However, I'm still finding it's getting challenging once I hit a certain MMR. So once I started to get around 24, 25, give or take, is when it started to get a little bit trickier. Now, before that, I was having the time of my life. It was tons of fun. But after, it just became pretty frustrating. And the real reason why is because if the opponent can take apart the key plays that we have, being the Fallen Rayla, being Moral, being the Roland, and then of course being the failed experiments, we just don't have anything left, right? There aren't a lot of points. We can't win the game off of something like a Disciple with a Gellert. So that's pretty much it. The idea of the deck is to distribute as much single poisons on the opponent's side as possible, and then come down with the Salamander and take the tribute on this card so that we can pretty much do as close to a board wipe as possible. Now, I think that this is a lot more try-hard and more serious than the old double Salamander where you'd kill off your own Salamander, you'd bring it back with Renew, and you'd try to play it again, because Rayla helps distribute poisons. Moral's got a good way of just putting out a couple poisons. We've got the Fistex, and now the real big player is the Failed Experiment. This card wasn't played at all before. Now it's going to be played in every single one of these decks because we can get poison on itself on deploy, and then we can just for a fee of 3 move poison from self to something else. So we can do a lot of self-poisoning with things like stolen mutagens and additional ones we make off the shady vendors. Get that over onto this card, then push it over onto the opponent's side of the playing field. Salamandra Hideout does the same thing, and of course just Fistex, Traffickers, Morale, all types of stuff like that. So decks that this will do good into are going to be like your Relics and just big point slam type decks that don't have any control, right? Decks that are going to be extremely challenging are pretty much anything with control. I think Nilfgaard will be a really tough time, right? Especially if they're playing status Nilfgaard. Assimilate could be kind of bad too, because they can go and poison our stuff. And, you know, just control. Nilfgaard could be tough. Skellige of all varieties will be definitely like really hard, and that's why I wanted to sort of add a couple techs in this version, like Squirrel, because if we're playing into certain matchups like Kelly, or if we're playing into Skellige when they have Melusine and stuff like that, they have a lot of Veil going around. The poison's very hard to get value from. There might be things that we need to banish in the graveyard, just get rid of, so that we have more of an opportunity to get good poisons later on. So that's kind of what the Squirrel's here for. I do have a more greedy version I'll show you after this, but again, I want to sort of make it as well-rounded as I can so that we have a chance of winning. And another example here too is Siege with the Full Test Pride, stuff like that, or the Sigvald and Melusine matchup, right? We got to be able to lock certain cards. Certain cards, it doesn't feel good if I don't have poisons left, or we're not ready to do it, or you know what I mean? We want to dish them as wide as possible, that sometimes we just need a lock, which is why I put the Reg Array in. I took one of the Hounds that I had in the previous version out, and I took one of the Stolen Mutagens out as well, because also, if we're playing into heavy control and they remove a lot of our tokens, like the Azar tokens or Salamandras, or any of the other ones we have, and we're not left with a good board state, Stolen Mutagens are really bad cards to have at that time. So we want to have these when they're playing for the 2 mutagens, right? Not just the 1. So that's why in this version here, which is like the final cut, I would say 1 feels just fine, right? But the idea of the deck, like I said, is just to put poisons as wide as possible, complete the poisons with Salamander. We have really good opening round 1 stuff, right? We want to play into round 1 with things like the Eternal Fire Disciple, which is 2 points per turn for 1 coin. And then we want to follow up with something like the Gellert, which is also 2 points for 1 coin per turn. So we're getting 4 points for 2 coins per turn. And then hopefully, if we can use something like the Traffickers or the Fistex, we can kind of just keep the coins coming in so that we can afford to make these sort of spends. Something I'm finding that we often have to do is use Roland in round 1 at times as well, so that we can get the coin back when we do the self-poison. That's a really nice combo here. And don't feel horrible if you have to use these 3 in round 1 to take it, because oftentimes the big Roland play with the Salamander for the big swing is extremely greedy, and it hasn't been working out that well. So you might not even see that today in the gameplay, where you put this card down, it overprofits, it boosts itself by the extra amount gained because of the leader ability. This will just be more or less a humble play, and I think that's pretty normal, really. So that's kind of the idea for round 1. You want to go into round 3 in a nice long round and have that last say, so that you can take Salamander, get the huge point swing. If you're able to save Roland, all the better, right? I think by now people know to just answer this or save something to answer this. So that's why I say round 1 play isn't a big deal, because someone might see this round 1, even drop a heat wave on it because they know that this is the card you're supposed to remove, right? So you might not get it in round 3, but usually last say Salamander and effective poison distribution should win a game. Again, it's against Point Slam. If our stuff gets answered, we don't have a lot, right? There isn't a lot in the way of thinning for Syndicate. So a couple options here, one of which I had, whoops, we'll take that out. One of which I had Oniromancy, right? And I did not have Decree, and I did not have Knickers, and I think I put in a Maxi. And that was not as good, because if the Oniro gets like a squirrel taken against it, right? We don't have as much tutor options, right? So I like having Decree as 1, Knickers as like an auto rollout as 2, and it just feels a bit smoother overall. It also allows us to greed it a little bit more, so kind of the idea here, right? King of Beggars will give refunds on the tributes that we take, so that's going to make it a little bit more effective when we're spending coin. We've got Rayla that takes tribute. We've got Azar that takes tribute for the defender tokens. Of course, we got the Salamander tribute with the 9. Now, for every Salamander we control, we get more profit for this card, which makes it a little bit easier to afford the tribute. So don't feel horrible if you have to take a leader in round 1 for whatever reason. It's not ideal, but you could still do that and afford to take Salamander later. It's just not as efficient, you know what I mean? It's just a little bit trickier. Now, we've got also tributes with the shady vendors, and these are going to be the big ones here. And sometimes, depending on how much you need to take to bring King of Beggars out of deck, is going to be what you take as far as melee or range row play, right? If we missed a couple of these cards, we might have to dig deep and go on the range row so we get extra tributes. But again, create and play either a 4 provision card on melee for 4 coin, and then on ranged 5 coin, 5 provision card. 5 provision card is going to be your Stolen Mutagens. That's our target card. The 4 provision card is going to be our Fist Tech target card. That's pretty much it. Other options that wouldn't be so bad if we drew like for a 5 would be maybe a Payday, right? Other options for 4. Oftentimes you might even want to go Plunder, right? Create and play a 4 provision unit with a fee, because we can get the Failed Experiment, or we can get the Eternal Fire Disciples. So really good pulse here, kind of doubling up on the things that matter most within this deck. So these are pretty well auto-include. Yeah, you guys know I like to use the other ones in my deck, the Salamandra Mages, but in this case, the vendor just makes a lot more sense. So that's going to be kind of what we have here. I normally don't run Candle, but Candle feels like it's a necessity in this case, because there's so many things we need to keep alive. And, you know, Candle's just ideal for the tokens, for the brothers, you know, for tons of stuff like that. So Candle makes the cut here. I've seen other versions that had Mushy Truffle. I'm not against it, guys. I just don't know where I'd put it. That's basically it. I think everything that's in here has a really good reason for being here. The only thing I would consider is Morale could go for this if you think Morale is going to get answered every time. But the point stealing potential of having Morale here just feels like much higher, I guess, than this. It's hard to wage, but then this brings me having to put in like bonded cards, and those bonded cards would be like, I guess, the beggars, right? Yeah, I mean, I could do without. We don't need that much coin. They would just be taking boosts, basically. we'd be over profiting quite a bit. So that's kind of the idea here. I think it's pretty good the way it is, and I think this deck could take you to pro rank. Don't get me wrong, I just don't think it's the most competitive deck once you get to pro rank. But either way, I'll show you my experience here, guys, before things got tough. It's going to be a lot of wins today, but I just want you to be, ready for the, the losses that could come with it as well. But tons of fun to play if, your engines don't get answered. It's the time of your life. So that's pretty much it. And I will be back tomorrow with another stream. I'll also be back tomorrow with another video. I've got a couple things I'm working on. Tons of new decks on the way. We got to start ramping it up, getting more creative for 10.6. And that's pretty much it for today. We'll get into the gameplay, guys. And if you enjoy the content that you see, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you soon. So first up here, we got Fruits of Ysgith. Can't say I love the fact that we go first. We have a lock with that. I don't think they run heat waves in their list. It's probably this that goes here. Alright, so maybe... Is it the lock on this, though? Yeah, because, like, other things go tall, this is the only thing that really goes wide, Just had mail that came in between turns here, so... We got 5 off this. Yeah, I think we just take it. Kind of need coin to make it go around, right? Especially if you want to go and take, like, pushing poisons. We could do that a couple times. Let's say we take 3 and 4. Keep it simple. And I guess we can go as far as taking Salamandra Hideout, ripping poison, shooting it over off of another one of these, right? Just because we're running low on the coin. Complete the poison that way. 37, 38 points. I hope they don't have Erendite. Really? Here. Okay. Waiting for a shoe nose. There's so many things it could be, right? Like they're looking like they're stacking for it. There it is. Except it's the wrong card that would carry over. We're so lucky. Because now we don't have to worry about it. Like, I know that this could be the carryover, but they probably would have just passed there and then got that and tried to do like a full game, who knows. But at least now, if we can keep morale going, we have like a really good play for the round. It's just a matter of what we would spend in this case. Like, I think we could play Azar with no need. Okay. So we get what we need. We prevent the carryover. All good things, right? Now we just have time to fix our hand. I need some cards for tribute. I don't know. It's a lot of good stuff. Let's see. This works. Salamander. It's kind of like the hand, you know? I mean, I have everything. It's all gold. Plus, we get an extra card off this. I think I'm supposed to play. Do they have 2 removal? I don't think so. Damage by 4 off 1? Okay, good thing we didn't boost it. We'll leave that here because we're going to go take tribute, remove the poison, boost self by 5. And then we can just start getting things together. That's pretty annoying though. Whatever, we can let them go wide. Actually, that's really good for the strategy with Roland. Here. Let's do this first. Because now we can remove the poison off that. Let's see here. Now we go, right? Tribute, take, there. Just every turn we could just do that, right? You know, at first, yeah, I actually think it's going to be Philippa, right? It's kind of a good pick. Because, like, forget about them going wide anymore. They're trying to get the better Triss here. Yeah. Alright, so we got Deadeye Ambush coming up here next. That's an easy mulligan phase 1 and 2, right?
Await the signal. Till then, don't budge. You shall drive the
There's just so many of them, you know? I feel like we have to compete, or try to. They just chuck a waylay, I guess. 2 coins back. That way they have to heat wave it, right? It's out of reach for like waylays. Yaven's a thing too, though. I think this is how I have to play it. I want to win the rounds. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta do something here. Be nice to have a Purify, though. We'll just do this whole play, I think. Like, I won't take Salamandra this round. Actually, yeah. It'll spill over, which is fine. We take this, which is fine. Can remove that here, which is great. And then that helps us so that we can now... Yeah. Because now we poison everything. It's not even a big deal. I don't want to play into Toriel, but I also don't want to play into Abomination, right? We're just going to do it like that. Okay, they could have actually passed on me. Profit 2 Salamandras.
Could you say what you'd never ask?
I think it's a payday just to get rid of that. It's the only engine, right? Yeah. Nice. So we got Fruitsy Ysgith coming up here, and honestly this has got to be one of the better matchups because they have a lot of point slams, unlike things like the Precision Strike. So we can actually get value from the poisons here. Put King of Beggars back. Do we have a way of getting 2 Salamandra? We have 1? I guess these do count, so maybe it is keep stall mutants here. Because we've got the whole combo, right? This feels like we can win round 1 with this hand 100%. I like 2 of them too, in case they answer 1, the whole assembly line. Actually, maybe it's using this. Whatever, that's a bit better. Because they can remove Disciple if they damage it by 4, but it's probably only going to be... What would it be for that? Like a crone? So if you look at the amount of points we're possibly generating off this here, it's the 2 per turn, right? Off this. And then the 2 per turn off this. There, now we can keep it safe. And then there's 2 per turn off this. And then we can just use the failed experiment to push them over. Yeah, I think we made the right choice. Here. We'll do, just to keep it safe, right?
You are worthy neither of mercy nor forgiveness.
They say you are what you eat.
It's kind of a big deal. We could take this. It'll soon be their tallest unit. Yeah, that's fine. Because, yeah, next turn we take the poison out with the failed experiment, right? It's just after that I don't have points. 10? Okay. So if I take that at 6... We just don't have... You know, I think it's still fine. Yeah, I think it's still fine. It just kind of comes down to, do I play in more? Probably not. Because even if I don't... Like, I'm missing value, though. Like, they don't have any engines on. I think we're supposed to play it, because I'm losing a lot of value here.
Yes, you. Have you made your offering?
And then next turn we can move it again. You see what I mean? It kind of pushes them out of the round. That's right. I'm trying to see if there's a way without spending a lot.
Remove his cowl, then his ear.
Okay, what if I take Candle and just do max profit carryover? Because it's 5 and 4. Well, close to max profit carryover, you know? Like a decent amount. Had I known. It should have been next round. I would have only spent once here. But I'm thinking if I can pull into like Rayla or something like that, we really have a chance to go for it, because they're going to have a lot of point slams, right? And I want to see the Triss play. There's 1, 2... Salamandra 1, 2, kind of, right? We play 2 of them off here. It's not bad. Still not great in this case. I think we can afford to take a tribute. Let's see it, Griffin or... Yeah. Now we can just use this. And then this is perfect. We just get it right back, move it over. We can do it for free even. Or... Nah, I think we have to get this one out of the way just because it's awkward, you know?
Premium grade won't find any better.
Here, we'll use the free one. But I think we can do 1, 2, and just start splitting stuff up. when this comes out.
My fist is purest in all overground.
Hopefully we get a couple more. We just take tribute on it. Profit 1. Yeah. It's not great. Take the 6.
Where is the challenge?
If they answer this, I'll be upset, but if not, we're going to get a huge removal, right? We get the points back off the tribute and just spend like crazy on the candle, or take Philippa. Yikes. That's kind of annoying. It's like a waste. I guess. Got 8 left here. I don't think we ever spend Philippa here. I think I'm going to take Philippa carryover because we got some ways to generate profit. We've got 24-point lead. I think that'll just be enough to kind of, you know. They're going to have to go for 5. Oh, it's just playing for the 6 points. Because, yeah, they have Self-Eaters, but... and the Ganseans and the Griffins, but we only have Force. Kind of works out really well here. We'll get back card. We might get both cards. We might just 2-0. If they're trying to set up She Who Knows, I don't think they have a way of getting that done. Amuna's kind of expensive, though. That might... Okay, so if, yeah, She Who Knows, they take it. Oh, perfect. That was a crazy bleed. We got Mamuna and Triss just like that at the end. Okay, I felt bad about poisoning the token, but it seemed to work out. 1, 2, and 3. Poison. What are the odds we get a second one? Philippa feels so bad here. 3, 4. Poison self. Pay to leave. I think this is it. We just get 1 poison off. We get 1 lock. Just cuz. Okay. I guess they really want to make the Triss play work. Just in case they have something that's Sabbath. They take the 2, they get the 1. It's probably a pig here. I'm going to split things up just in case, you know. That should just be enough. We've got the 2 of these here. If it's a pig, we'll lock it. Okay. A crazy defender finish. Like, this deck is just so point slammy, and they did a fairly good job at defending, but we take it by the 2 points here.
forgive you. This time.
Alright, we got Imprisonment coming up here next. Maybe for Q, right? 1 and 2 is good. I don't think we ever go in and use Stolen Mutagens round 1, because we probably don't use Czar round 1, you know? Here, that should actually just be fine. Same turn fee. What, are they playing Mill? Just take the free points and... You know, just hit anything except,
A fine vintage.
of course, they're just going to take the other one? Okay. We got to actually boost it. We got to keep things looking proper, because I don't want them to go and take the collar and just get... Really?
Quite the menial task.
Nose, mouth, any hole will do.
Let's see here. I guess we have to set it up, don't we? It's just how much is too much, that's all. Maybe it's going to be Roland, because at this point...
This will make for prime product.
Take what? Okay.
Just a peek. That is all I need.
That's painful. I don't purify and demand, but... Here. You know what? It's good though, because like I only have one card really besides King of Beggars. Like we have Knickers and we have the Royal Decree.
Bow, barbarian. Bow low.
So here, we'll take the tribute. Put it on yeah, that's good. There, they use this, so now we can stay up with that. We gotta win round 1, because like there's not a lot left, you know. I would have probably just taken Roland for them.
I hate nothing more than a creaky door.
Whenever your opponent plays a unit, it just happens to be on our side. I guess that would be here. Yeah, we'll just keep things low key here. Nice.
Here's our chance.
They haven't done a great job milling. Like, everything we have in deck is kind of like a 2-0 type situation. Oniro and Ku. Oniro and Ku. What would they really take, you know? I think it's Ku though still. Just the utility it brings. Oniro, like, I don't think they're going to have a lot of great cards anyways. Maybe Renew, which is the only thing I'm worried about. Renew for, like, this would suck. Joust. Yeah, our deck is just so good, and our pull rate's just going to be so great that I just think we're supposed to play. Even if they take one.
Same time next week.
Ring of Favor at 19. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Is there anything else that we could do that brings me enough points? Because it's basically Poison Self fee 3. Good. Yen. Did they grab the wrong card? We do it for less. Just need 7 points. Morale feels kind of bad here. Did they take both? They took one. This could be 4 though. 6.
Best commodity in town, I swear it.
There we go. That way at least we could try and save morale, because we have fist techs and stuff like that to finish poisons. I was just looking at it. Seems alright. Carry over off that, so if we need coin for it, sure. It's kind of the hand, no? Couple things left. Philippa feels nice. Maybe morale goes. Fist tech?
Do not make me beg.
You ghoulies in a vice. Spill it up the screen.
Okay, so if I do roll this here, 5. There's nothing I can do with. Okay, yeah, I gotta play this first. So we have another poison. We'll take 4. Create and play for the fee. Don't really need for the fee. We could do 4 damage, or we could just complete a poison. It's probably poison. Because then we take this here, and we can just use... yeah. They'll take that for 4 points, net 3. Well, they get the assimilate. They don't have coup, so we can poison that. That should just be a 2-0, I think. Look, all gold cards missed, and they milled King of Beggars. It was a pretty clean win. And we had to play things like subpar in round 1. Such a clean finish.